It just slowly builds up until it gets to a point where it's like this. Your sales are like this. And that's when you're ready to open up another location. But you have to have this system. You have to have this. It doesn't work without this. Marketing doesn't fix it. Having the best staff in the world doesn't do that. It's this system. This is how you get customer retention. This is how you skyrocket customer retention. And this is how you change everything. So you own a restaurant. You're struggling a little bit with sales, or you're just not hitting the sales that you want to hit. And you're wondering why. Your food's good. Your drinks are good. The atmosphere is good. Your staff's good. So what's the problem? Well, I've been working in the restaurant industry for 20 years, helping restaurants learn what that problem is and how to solve it. And I'm going to teach you today what that problem is and how to solve it. I've opened 25 restaurants, and the reason I tell you that is because I would see a lot of the same restaurants make the same mistakes. They would focus on the food, they'd focus on aesthetics, they would focus on training, but they wouldn't focus on this one core thing, which is having an organized system in order to turn any guest that walks through the door into a loyal repeat guest. That should be your goal all the time. That's going to be huge for you, and that's what's going to make you a lot of money. What's a loyal repeat guest? A loyal repeat guest is a guest, of course, that comes back, but that's not it. They're loyal. So they do three things. They come back, and you want them to come back at least once a month, like the Netflix subscription, minimum, okay? How do you get them to come back? You make them come back. You can't physically make them come back, of course, so you're going to give them such an amazing experience that they have to come back. They're going to want to come back. The minute they leave, they're going to want to come back again. It reminds me of my first dance in high school, which I had a lot of fun. And I remember I just wanted to go back. I couldn't wait till the next dance. I was so excited. And then it reminds me of the first time I went to a nightclub when I was a kid. When I first, turned 18, I was able to get into a nightclub and I had so much fun. I wanted to come back. And then it reminds me of the first time I had an amazing experience at a restaurant. And I remember leaving feeling euphoric. And it was an experience. And I remember, leaving there with a euphoric feeling because it wasn't just service. It wasn't just people being really nice and polite. It wasn't just people helping me out whenever I asked. They created an experience and an ambiance and a vibe. And so that's what I'm going to kind of show you how to do today with your staff. And it's something that you don't need any money to do. And part of this is perceived value. And I really want you to focus on that. How do I get everything to have more perceived value in my restaurant? I dabbled in filmmaking for a little bit, and I remember I would make short films. And the whole idea of a short film is you're paying for it by yourself. And so the whole idea is, how do I make my budget look 10x what it is? And the answer to that is perceived value. You make something seem more valuable than it is, or you give things value that don't actually have any tangible physical value. It's perceived value. And you want to do that with your restaurant. Everything should be built on perceived value. You should not be paying X amount of dollars for your rent and make it look like you're paying X amount of dollars for your rent. You shouldn't be paying X amount of dollars for your tables and booths and chairs, and then when people see them, they go, oh yeah, those chairs look like they cost that much. They should appear that they cost more. When someone's giving service, it shouldn't seem like they're giving low dollar amount of service. When you get the service, you should think, wow, this service is worth the extra dollars I'm paying for in that chicken or in that steak dish. Everything should have added value based off of what you're using to provide it. So let's get into this. All right, so I'm going to show you a technique I use. It's called the diamond mound. This is how you go from batting to scoring, okay? Scoring that 5-star win. 5-star what? 5-star rating, 5-star review. So you want to turn every guest into a loyal repeat guest. What is a loyal repeat guest? A loyal repeat guest is someone who wants to come in every time, comes back, and then the loyal repeat guest also has to tell people about your restaurant. So you have to give them such an amazing experience that when they leave, they want to tell people about the experience. They have to tell people about the experience. Wow, that was so amazing. And again, this doesn't cost money. This is just verbiage, presentation, delivery. That's it, okay? So you want people to come back at least once a month. You want people to have to tell their friends and family, people that trust them, about the experience, making them into one of the most powerful and effective marketing machines, because 80% of new business for restaurants still comes from word of mouth. So this is the most powerful marketing you can have, and it's free. And then the third thing is you want them to leave a 5-star review somewhere. So we're going to get that with his service. I'm going to show you how, okay? First base, to get to first base, you got to get to score, you have to get on first base, right? So to get on first base, you just need consistency. Consistency is key. So if you have systems in place to ensure that every host, server, busser, barback, bartender is giving the same consistent experience every single time, then you're going to get to first base right away. You're going to get on first, no matter what. But that's part of the consistency. A lot of people, I talk to restaurant owners and I tell them there's a problem with consistency, and they say, I don't think I have a problem with consistency. And I'm like, well, why do you think that? And they always say, I have a great staff, we have great training, but that's a problem. A great staff and great training is not the same thing as systems put in place to ensure consistency. You can have a great staff, you can have great training, but the problem is training happens once, okay? Training happens once, and then a restaurant owner just assumes that the person they trained will just uphold that training for the rest of time. And that's not how it works, unfortunately. Even if you have the best staff, it doesn't work that way, because no matter what, no matter how good your staff is, how dedicated they are, people always, when they feel like they're not being watched, they start doing things their way. Whether it's to make it easier, whether they think it's to make it better, it doesn't matter what their motive is really. They start doing things their own way. And so they might hit on the key points of your service or training that you've asked them, but they've also switched things here and there along the way to make it better for them or for what they think is better for the customer and better for the restaurant. But regardless, it creates inconsistency. So now you have 10 servers who have their own little ways, even though they hit the main points that you're asking for. So if you look over, you check it out, oh, it seems like they're doing their job, but they're hitting these little tiny pieces that are different, and that creates inconsistent experiences. So someone walks in, they get a server, this server does A, B, and C, and they're like, wow, that was amazing. And they go and they tell their friends, then they go back and they're all excited, and they come back, and then this person does different. They do it C, D, and F. And they're like, oh, but the last server did A. I wonder why this server didn't do A. And they're doing D, and I don't understand, like, what happened to B? I thought I was going to get B, and now I don't get B. So they get confused, and they call it the burnt child syndrome, right? And that's basically an experiment where a child gets punished whether they have good behavior or bad behavior. They lose trust in the parents, and they get confused, and they don't know what to do. And that's the same thing with the customer. They'll get confused, and they'll lose trust. The difference is a child can't leave their parent, but a customer can go to a different restaurant, and they will. So consistency is everything, but it's systems in place to ensure that that your staff is being consistent and staying consistent. Because if you just train them once and it's off to the races, things are going to go down. Inconsistencies will happen. No matter how good your staff is, no matter how good your initial training is, things will go down. So consistency is key. So lock that down. Make sure you have systems in place to make sure you're monitoring your staff's consistency. That's how you get on first base. Okay, so we'll go to second base, which is provide an exceptional experience. So all the time, I have conversations with restaurant owners. They're not hitting their sales. And I say, you probably have a retention problem. And they go, well, I don't think I have a retention problem. I think I have a marketing problem. And I always say, well, we've had a discussion. I've seen your numbers. You have a retention problem. And they say the same thing. Well, we have great steps of service. We have a great staff, blah, blah, blah. But the problem is it's not just steps of service and staff. Service and an experience are two completely different things. Service is a business transaction. That just means that points are getting checked to get the customer from point A to point B. We want to make sure the customer gets their drink order. They want to make sure that the customer gets fed. We want to make sure they get their bill. We want to make sure they pay. That's steps of service. You're just checking all those boxes. 2-bite check back, make sure they're not hating their food, pre-bus, dessert menu, all that stuff is steps of service. That's just a business transaction. That's the minimum. That's the bare bones. You want to dress it up and do an experience, okay? And this is part of it. You want to, so this is your service now, right? Great, awesome, great service, great steps of service, great staff, but that's basic. That's it. That's what I get. I can get that at Denny's, right? That's something that's just very, very simple and basic. We want to dress it up, make it look nice and clean. Perceived value, get that perceived value up. We do that with verbiage. Make sure your staff is talking to the customers the right way. Making sure your staff are salespeople. Your hosts, bussers, your servers, they're all salespeople because they're selling they're selling the guest on two things. One, this experience is more valuable than the dollar amount you're seeing on the plate. This experience is more valuable than you're seeing on the walls and the decorations. This experience is more valuable than you're seeing on in your drink that you're tasting. The experience is more valuable because the staff is talking to you a certain way, delivering things a certain way, creating an experience and an environment, ambiance that's euphoric. And you're willing to pay more for that because you can't get it anywhere else. You don't need to have the best food or best drinks, but if you have one of the best experiences, you're going to make money. You're going to go, your restaurant's going to go parabolic in sales when it has consistent amazing elevated experience. So you want to dress everything up like that. That's so important. And again, you do that with verbiage. You do that with professionalism, knowledgeability through all your staff. The correct steps of service is in there. Yes. So that piece that you have already figured out, that's in there. That's good. So now you're going to have that, but it's a small piece to a big puzzle. So you have the steps of service in there, you have the ambiance, and then you dress it up with verbiage, with professionalism, with knowledgeability, and with building a personal connection with the guest. So you're making sure your staff is not talking at them, but to them, and they feel listened to, and not just like it's a business transaction. They're a customer, you're an employee. They're just there to, everyone's there to make money. It's like, oh, here, give me food, I'll give you money, thank you. Yes, obviously at the bare bones, that's what it is, but we wanted to dress it up more than that, so that way we get those people that have to come back, that have to tell someone about it, and that have to leave a 5-star review. That's going to be the difference, okay? So provide an exceptional experience. Awesome. We're doing that. You have that all down. You're going to dress up that experience, right? You're going to make it nice and tight. You're going to make sure your staff knows all the verbiage and what to say it, how to respond to things, how to make the guest feel heard, and how to make the guest feel euphoric. Just do verbiage, presentation, and delivery. So to get to third base, you want wins. You want your staff to get wins. This is a big piece to the puzzle, okay? When you talk about steps of service, that's fine, but this is the big boy stuff. This is where it's going to take you to the next league. This is where you're going to get ahead of 90% of restaurants when you hit the wins. This should be talked about all the time with your staff in the back of the house, in pre-shifts, always. You guys should just be constantly talking about, how do we get wins? How do we get wins? How are you getting wins? What did you do to get a win yesterday? What are you going to do to get a win today? What's a good example of a win? What's your favorite win? You should be talking about it all the time. How many wins did you get? Everyone line up at the end of the night. How many wins did you get? How many wins did you get? How many wins did you get? All right, congratulations. What was your favorite win tonight? That's how much should be talked about. And when you instill that culture, when you still instill that environment, people are going to start, your servers are going to start actively seeking out, and it's going to gamify it for them. It's going to make it exciting for them, and they're also going to believe in it. They're going to want to do it. And wins are only going to benefit everyone involved. It benefits the owner. It benefits the staff because they feel proud of what they're doing, because they're doing good work. And it benefits the customer, of course, because they're getting more value for their money. And they see it and they feel it. So what is a win? First, and this isn't necessarily in an order, but this is what you want to do. You want to wow. Wow. Again, wow with your presentation and your verbiage. Wow them. When you walk up and you greet the table, you should be able to wow them to when you leave the table after the greet, they're like, whoa, that was good. That was professional. Wow. That was amazing. Wow. So wow them with everything that doesn't cost money. You're already paying your staff. So let's get the most out of them. Let's get them doing their job to the best of their ability. And that takes good leadership. So wow. Wow them with the presentation verbiage. Next, you're going to impress. Find ways to impress by exceeding expectations. So I'll give you an example. I was at a high-end Mexican restaurant and I ordered the carnitas. They're delicious. They came with a salsa. It was different from the chips and salsa. It was a special salsa just for the carnitas, and it was probably the best salsa I ever had. And I kept asking my server for more, and I kept telling her how much I love the salsa. I'm like, this salsa is so good. And so when I got a box for my carnitas, she brought me a box, and then she gave me a big container of that salsa that I really liked and a side of chips. And she goes, I know you love that salsa, so I brought you some. You can enjoy it tomorrow. I was impressed. That's a win. I was impressed. That's a win. I didn't have to ask her, and then she did it. She saw an opportunity, and she took it to impress me, to wow me, and to win me. Like, that was it. I was sold. I told everybody about this. I'm telling you about this. I've marketed like crazy now because I was so impressed by what they did. And everyone that's heard the story has been like, wow, that's awesome. That's amazing. And now they've all gone. And I left a 5-star review without them even asking. So impress. And then nurture, build trust, build connection, foster relationship, build trust. If your staff members are knowledgeable and they're friendly and they're over the top hospitable, then they're going to be doing all these things, because you want to make sure that you're on point with everything. You're not missing any beats. You're not stepping. You're not causing any resistance with the experience with the guests, but you also want to build a connection with them. You want to talk to them. You don't want to walk up and have your servers walking up and like, hey, how's it going? My name's Preston. Can I get you guys started off with something to drink, Mai Tai, a margarita, anything like that? Okay, cool. That's awesome. But instantly turns into a business transaction right then and there. He just gave me a spiel. Now I regurgitate my answer. I just give him my answer. I give him my order. So yeah, you have someone that comes in and says, is it your first time here? Yeah, it's my first time here. Awesome. So these are our appetizers. Our most popular one is a poke. If you go down here, this is our steaks. What we're known for. Our steaks are delicious. I like the 12-ounce filet. That's my personal favorite. I like to add a bone marrow butter on top of that. It just really, really complements the dish. Here are our sides. My favorite is the broccolini. And for cocktails, it's on the back. I really like the Chupa Libre. We make our syrups in house from scratch, and they're really good. And our wine list is amazing. I really recommend the Austin Hope Cabernet for getting a steak. It really just pairs well. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be back. So that's cool. That's an extra step of service. That's an extra add on to service, but it's not anything special, and it doesn't make it feel like you're connecting with the guest. It really makes it feel like you're just kind of talking at the guest. And again, it makes it feel like a business transaction. And I've been to really nice restaurants where they do that all the time, with it's your first time here and spiel, instead of saying, like, making it really personable, really good connection. Like, thanks for coming in, guys. We really appreciate it. So what we're known for here is our steaks. We actually get it from a local rancher. We really pride ourselves on having local farm-to-table butchery, because the flavor is just next level. You can taste it when it's never frozen, and the corn feed they give them is not only good for the cow, but it also adds just immense flavor to it. And you're gonna taste it when you taste these steaks. I used to think I bought the best steaks, and now when I get these steaks here, it's next level. It really makes a difference. So I recommend you trying any of these. The steaks are right here. These are the different cuts. If you have any questions, like, please let me know. There's a lot of unique cuts here. I'm not big on the unique cuts. I like ribeyes. Really simple, full flavor, lots of fat. Everyone knows about the ribeye, but that's my personal favorite. If you're a ribeye fan, I highly recommend it. Also, you can add on the bone marrow butter sauce. Oh my God, it makes the steak melt in your mouth. Wow, it's next level. I highly, highly recommend it. It's just going to take everything to another level. So listen, there's appetizers here. There's sides here too. I'll let you guys fill out the menu, but if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm here to answer your questions. Like, seriously, ask me, because the more you know, the better you're going to be able to order, and then the better experience you're going to have. And I'm all about you having the best experience possible. You're going to have the best steak possible. You might as well have the best experience possible, right? All right, cool, guys. My name's Preston. So again, just, like, anything you need, just ask, okay? So it's just a little bit different. You're giving that more personable touch where you're talking to people, you're having a conversation with them, rather than it sounds like you're just trying to spew out a script as fast as humanly possible. Okay, so that's part of it. I can go on and on and on about all of these. There's a lot of different. This actually is a very complex and in-depth system, but I'm just giving you the basics so you kind of can wrap your head around it and just start implementing it with your staff. And the next is story. So leave them with a story to tell. Just like I just told you that story about the salsa. Like, I have to tell you that story. I love that story. And I was excited to tell people that story because I thought it was so cool. And I got something for free, and I got something that I like for free. I was heard. I told her I like this salsa, so I was heard. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, that salsa's amazing, great, and just walks away. She heard me, and she let it be known that she heard me. So leave them with a story to tell. So important. And if you have that goal in mind when you're going into it, like, I'm going to really try and give them a story to tell when they walk away, then 9 times out of 10, you have a much better chance of it happening versus just not having that in mind whatsoever. Okay, so that's wins. And then the last base, you want to get that score on the board, is the 5-star win, and I call it stealing home base, because you're stealing home base. So if you don't, this is the ask, right? So you can ask them to come back or whatever. That's kind of like the basic thing. But if you really want to make this a beneficial experience for both of you guys, you ask them for a 5-star review, either on Yelp or whatever they like to leave, whatever they leave reviews on. Some people don't use Yelp, they use Google or TripAdvisor, but just ask for a 5-star review. And a lot of places I've had like some pushback when I first bring up this idea, because they think that it's like, is this tacky? Does it look bad? And it's not. It doesn't. If you gave them an amazing experience, they got good food and good drinks, then why would it be bad for you to ask for a 5-star review as a business? It's not. There's nothing wrong with it, especially now when the online presence for a restaurant is more important than ever. And people realize that now, how important it is. You have to keep up with your reviews now because people pay attention to it so much. People decide where they're going based on your reviews on Yelp or on even TikTok or on Google reviews. They'll look, and if they see something low or they see a couple of negative reviews, they just might, I'm not going there. I was leaning towards it. Now I'm not going. So this is how you keep up. And this is how you can maybe get to that 5-star elite review or elite level where you have 5 stars, which is super rare. Then your restaurant's getting picked. If you're ever in the contention and people look up your reviews, they're going to pick you because you have 5 stars. So just ask. Really simple, really nice, pay at the very end, because if people are more prone naturally to complain online than to promote online and to leave a good experience. If someone has a great experience, they leave happy, and they usually don't talk about it online. Like 1 out of 10 people give you a good review online that had a good experience. People will complain all the time, no problem. They're fast to complain. So if you ask, that number goes up to 6 to 7 out of 10 if you ask. So why wouldn't you ask? It's better for your business. And if you do it professionally, it doesn't look bad at all. So when your guest is about to leave, just, I hope you guys had an amazing experience. I gave it as much effort as I could to make sure you had the most amazing experience. They're going to say, yes, we had an amazing experience. By the way, we want our online presence to reflect the experience that you have in the restaurant. So if you could leave us a 5-star review, it would mean a lot for us. We're trying to really show people what we're offering here and get them in the door and then give them the same experience that we gave you. And so you just leave a little QR code. One's like Google, one's Yelp on one side, and you just put it at the end of the table. You don't ask them to scan it. Don't start giving them directions. Just leave it there. Walk away with the payment. And most of the time, the people will leave a review when you're closing out the check. They'll scan it. They'll look, it's Yelp. It'll pull up their Yelp app. They'll just leave the review right then and there. And if not, then usually they end up leaving it later on. But you have way, way, way more reviews when you do this, which will equal to more sales, equal to more attention, equal to more things that you can post online, you can promote online. You should be promoting your 5-star reviews online on your Instagram account or TikTok account or whatever. You should be posting that on your wins on there to show people look, we're a 5-star restaurant. We get 5-star reviews all the time. It's going to make a big difference. So that's the diamond plate I got for you guys. I'm telling you right now, if you implement this, if you get this implemented correctly with all the systems in place, then you're going to see it in your P&L. It's going to be almost instant. And it's instead of being like marketing, where marketing is going to just give you like a sugar rush, give you like a little boost in sales and boost in people walking through the door, this is going to get people coming back. Your customer retention rate is going to go through the roof, which means your profits are going to go through the roof. Customer retention, repeat business is much more profitable than new business because A, it's cheaper to acquire, much cheaper to acquire, and B, people that come back spend more. People come in for the first time, they're timid. I don't know if I should try this. I don't trust the food yet. I don't know. It looks good. I guess I'll try this, and we'll have a couple of, whatever, entrees and a couple of drinks, and that's it. When people come in, they're comfortable. You made a connection. Your server made a connection. Your host made a connection, so they feel like they know you. They know the people there. They walk in, they ask for that server. They see the server. They're talking to them. Hey, it's like an old friend, and then they feel comfortable. They want to order more drinks. They want to order more food. They might bring their friends. So they spend more money on average by 20% or more. They spend more money. So repeat business, and they're going to go tell their friends. So now they're bringing people in the door. Now you can do this whole system over again with them. So they're bringing their friends in the door, and then you get them to come back. You get them to tell 16 friends. You get them to tell their friends and family, and they bring more people in the door. Then you do the same thing, and it just slowly builds up until it gets to a point where it's like this. Your sales are like this, and that's when you're ready to open up another location. But you have to have this system. You have to have this. It doesn't work without this. Marketing doesn't fix it. Training someone once doesn't fix it. Having the best staff in the world doesn't do that. It's this system. This is how you get customer retention. This is how you skyrocket customer retention. And this is how you change everything, okay? So if you have any questions, feel free to message me. I'm more than happy to answer them. You can leave them in the comments below. I'll answer any questions you have if you need any clarity on this system or any questions at all about, hey, my sales aren't just looking so hot. Do you have any tips or advice? I'll be more than happy to answer them. Just leave in a comment down below. But all it takes is knowledge and action. I'm giving you the knowledge, so just take the action. Take action.